Hey, I'm Amethyst Goddess, and I wanted to check in with y'all regarding the new moon in Cancer. So, we have this new moon in Cancer, in addition to true North Node going into Aries. So, Aries will be transiting to be in transition to be the North Node, and the South Node will be Libra. Libra is about balance. Their affirmation is I balance. So their energy is about diplomacy, relationships, justice. In a sense, with the diplomacy, sometimes it can be over the top where they will sacrifice or compromise their desire or will for the sake of the common good in a lot of instances, or for their significant other. They're very artistic, they're beautiful, they're ruled by Venus, the planet Venus. So that's all about elegance and beauty and aesthetics. So when you think about Aries, it's like the complete opposite. Aries is considered the warrior. Their affirmation is I am. And that energy brings out the fieriness of a person, whereas Libra is like the coolness. So that's like air energy. So Aries is ruled by Mars, and that is like that warrior like energy, assertive, in some instances aggressive, very blunt, direct, straight to the point, and in some instances short tempered, but it doesn't last long. I know a lot of Aries people, they may pop off, but it doesn't last. It's like a thing where once they say what they need to say, then they're done. And they can actually go on with the rest of the day jovial or happy and not carrying whatever they may have felt at that particular time. And sometimes their energy is not as long lasting. It's like spurts of a large amount of energy. So all of that combined, knowing that that energy is going to be in North Node, or the true North Node of Aries, that means a lot of us will be stepping into our power in leadership roles. Codependency won't be an issue. Now, if there's others around you that are codependent, they may have some issues, because it's going to be a thing where you're kind of, they may consider you selfish, but really you're not. You're just focusing more on yourself. You're doing more for yourself. You're looking out for yourself. And you're actually putting yourself as a priority. You may even have the urge to exercise more, to focus on your appearance and how you show up in the world. And you want to exude strength versus looking delicate or necessarily soft to the eyes. You want to look the way you want to look. So if you feel like you want to wear a certain thing, you wouldn't care what people will say, like, oh, would that be appropriate? In that type of energy, you would not care. You very well may color your hair during this time, or have an urge to change your appearance. But it's also called for a balance within our energy, especially if we have been over diplomatic, we have been over compromising. It will have us to take responsibility for ourselves, and that is a good thing. A lot of us need that, because sometimes we sacrifice ourselves and sacrifice our lives for other individuals. Okay, so then it's like a thing where this is Cancer season. So with Cancer season, and then having the new moon in Cancer, is going to have you to revisit your relationships to see how they measure up, in a sense. Not to mention, we have a Venus retrograde in Leo that's coming up next week. So it's a lot of different energies that's going to be playing up on how we show up in the world, how we view ourselves, how we love ourselves, and maintain our boundaries. In addition to finally taking authority and stepping into our power and not being afraid of like showing up in the world, because a lot of us we have scaled back how we show up because we don't want to be in the spotlight, or we don't want to come off like we're the ones trying to take over, allowing others to get the limelight while we're kind of in the background. And even if you are naturally drawn to do the background, it's not necessarily saying now all of a sudden you're going to be front and center, but getting the credit that you're just due, being able to accept that acknowledgement from others when they're saying that you're doing a good job, the hard work and dedication that you have put into the positions that you are in, being finally recognized for that and not downplaying your gifts. That is another way to look at how this energy is. But if you have been living vicariously through some other person, or passively allowing things to just happen to you, you will have a sense of urgency to say, okay, enough is enough. I need to get myself together and actually come up with a plan. And some of us may do it in a spontaneous way where it's like, where did that come from? Be careful with that so that you don't wreck your relationships in a sense by being, in a sense, reckless in your decision making, acting in haste, and not really thinking it all the way through. Sometimes when we do leaps of faith, we can't think about all the next steps. But in situations where, say for instance, you quit your job, but you didn't even think about what you were passionate about, didn't even have a savings or even know what you were going to do next. You just quit, and then you have other obligations, whether it's children or what have you. Now that I wouldn't recommend. But you may very well have that urge, like, I want to quit this job right now, and we'll, just long as you know what you're going to do, at least the next step. Okay, at least the next step. So it's going to have you revisit your intimate connections, specifically to as far as what habits have you been displaying in regards to your connections. Have you been showing up as a person that is an individual, that is not always blended in with everyone else's views or perspectives? Like, do you have your own color? Or are you blending in with everyone else's? And when I saw that, I saw a paintbrush and I saw watercolors. And sometimes in certain circumstances, depending on the environment that we're in, we will blend in a sense where no one knows us. We don't have an identity. We mask ourselves and portray ourselves to be a certain way when we're not. And that can happen on the downside of a Libra energy, where there's a sense of fakeness or wanting to portray a certain image versus our true selves. And so with this assertive energy, it's going to have you revisit how you show up again with your relationships, especially your intimate connections. And I'm also hearing workplace. So if you've been allowing people to assign you certain things that they may not want to do, or allow people to tell you what to do at your job, even though you know you have the skill sets, you know everything, you're very knowledgeable about your position, but you allow people to just shove you work, you're going to start wanting to stand up for yourself and position yourself in a way where people won't do that. And then establish those boundaries to say, okay, you may have done this in the past, but this is no longer continuing. This is your position. This is the characteristics of your position or your description of your job description, and that does not fit. Okay. In regards to relationships, again, if you haven't been speaking up for yourself, You've been kind of allowing people to just display themselves and do things that is somewhat disrespectful, irritating, or even in situations where you've overcompromised in the relationship, you will actually like stand up for yourself. Again, I'm hearing a lot of physical energy, so there's going to be a lot of effort into your home front, positioning yourself to show up as your best self, or at least work on it. Your inner strength, your physical strength, recognizing the strength that you possess, and not, again, be passive in life. Okay, that's the energy. The new moon in Cancer may actually have you in a situation where you want to reconsider relationships, whether or not they're worth salvaging or worth putting yourself out there. You may even consider new connections. You may be open up to new partnerships or new love interests. Okay. You will also revisit the relationships of the past as far as your upbringing, your childhood. Like, how did your caretaker, how did they show up? Whether it's was it your guardian, your grandparent, your aunt, your mother, your father? What were those relationships were like? And reflect on that versus, and do a comparison of where you are today. And reflect on certain issues that may come up to the surface where you may have a flashback. And it's something that you need to look at and understand about even your personality and how you show up in the world, and connect the dots as far as triggers, as far as the relationships that you currently have now. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing some cards that's definitely identifying all that I've been saying so far. So I'm gonna get one more card and I'm gonna share it with you. But it's like storytelling from what I'm gathering. It's gonna show a story of how you started to where you are now, and you being aware and accepting that. Like being in acceptance and really introspective about everything that has happened thus far. Okay? So there is some mental conflict. There is some mental conflict in regards to certain ideas that you may have had in the past till now, recognizing your position in those certain circumstances, acknowledging that sometimes you can be contradictory. Okay, because some of you may have wanted, you come off like you want this power, or you have some type of authority, but then you don't necessarily possess all that of what it entails to have that type of authority. So for example, there are some people that are in power that all they care about is the power part, but they don't know how to lead. They don't know how to guide. They don't know how to build others, or they may be power hungry. They may not have all the skill sets to actually embody true authority. And even with this energy that I'm gathering from the mental conflict, it's like there may be some form of frustration, because Aries rules the head. And if you look, the head right here, the inner head is red. So some of you, and this is cooler energy. Interesting. This is cooler energy. This is like a bluish kind of energy that reminds me of Libra. So you have a leader within you, but you may not know how to show up as a leader. You may possess certain characteristics or qualities of a leader, but it's like, what do I do with it? How do I say it? How do I vocalize it or communicate it? How do I position myself to show up as an individual? And you may have to have, I'm seeing this, even this yellow, standing out, the confidence and the willpower, your solar plexus energy may have to shield you in a sense, to get you through that energy. So it's like that mental energy is necessary for you to really show up. You know how you have to sometimes psych yourself out a little bit when you're in situations where you may not know how to do everything. And it's just like you have to do this confidence builder within yourself, and you may have to do affirmations or say, like, I can do this, I got this, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And yellow is really standing out for me. And some of you, from the green that I'm seeing and the blue, the green I'm seeing as far as your heart chakra. Your heart chakra is something, you have something that you love and something that you want to be open to, whether it's individuals, whether it's new environments, ideas, or you want to grow and develop yourself, and you want to have that openness to connect, and you will be communicating that, and you need the energy within your throat chakra to communicate that that idea, those thoughts, the creativity, speaking up for yourself, breathing through your process. Because some of us, we get so tight and restricted within ourselves when we have mental conflict that we're not breathing, and we're not breathing properly, allowing us to feel the moment because we're so tense and so not at ease with the circumstances that we may be in, especially if it's new, especially if something that we need to speak up, and we've been allowing certain things to happen. We have to stand our ground, which comes into the next card regarding the new moon. Okay, standing our ground in that true north node energy in Aries. Okay, so that's going to take a lot of willpower. That's going to take you wanting to meet the needs of yourself, your emotional needs. Okay, if you notice the orange and the yellow, you're going to have to stand your ground, like assert yourself. You also, again, I said the boundaries, but if you're willing to be open with individuals, you're going to have to let your guard down. And then having that ability to not be attached, being able to let go and disconnect, and not be codependent in a sense where you have to have someone involved or have to have someone always connected to. It's really like an individual energy. Okay, you don't see any other people near this person. It's something that they have to assert themselves into. Okay, and it's interesting that it favors the moon, right? Because again, Monday, which is moon day, that is where that energy will be showing up for us. 777 may be significant, 999 and 222, as well as 888. So 222, 777, 999 and 888 are significant numbers that you may be seeing during this time. And I just heard for the next 2 weeks you may see this energy. Solitude, okay, like hermit, Virgo energy, and Virgo is supposed to be somewhere in the mix as well as far as astrologically, and you may want to look that up in the forecast. But solitude, you will definitely be doing a lot of introspection. You may be communicating some certain truths to yourself. If you look at the blue, and this structure, it reminds me of the throat chakra, like the trachea, okay? Your vocal cords and all of that. All of this right here, it reminds me of the throat. And it may very well be a thing where you receive some downloads. You receive some downloads from your crown all the way down to here, through your third eye to your throat. And your throat is the communication portal. It's a portal where creativity is, it kind of comes through here, whether you're writing, singing, expressing yourself. That energy is building up. so that you can stand your ground and know how to utilize your energy. And so some of you may be reading books. Some of you may be going through, I just heard Akashic Records, okay? So you may be revisiting the past lives, okay? This really stood out as Akashic Records. Some of you may be connected to Egypt, past life energy. And then lastly, accelerated motion. That's the number 8, accelerated motion. So things may be picking up for you in regards to your manifestations. Definitely the days have been speeding up. It seems like there is a different energy, like a new cycle, as I expressed in previous videos. So things will be picking up for you. So the amount of time that it may have seemed like for things to come full circle or to reveal themselves in the past will not take as long, especially if you're positioning yourself to be open to the new, as well as expanding your energy to better possibilities. Okay, and I'm clarifying the accelerated motion, and then at the end I'm going to do one card for each sign. I didn't say that initially, but I will be doing all signs. So the Hierophant, you may be connected to a Taurus. Commitments may be something that will happen quickly for you. And I'm talking about stuff that's dealing with deeper commitments and contracts. Some of you may be going back to school, because I heard transcripts. Some of you may be getting some paperwork handled during this time. So something where they may say, oh, it's going to take 6 to 9 weeks for us to process your paperwork or review your paperwork. It may take 3 to 4 weeks. I'm hearing expedited. Okay, expedited. Clarify. I heard 8 of Pentacles with this energy. So some of you that have been working on your skills, you have been developing yourself education-wise, work-wise, what have you, as far as your employment. I'm seeing that you are positioning yourself to a higher position, to being qualified for higher pay, a higher position, more responsibilities, and you will do well in those leadership positions. Okay, and this is the 6 of Wands. So that's pretty much what I have as far as the collective. So now I actually want to go ahead and go into the individual signs, okay? And this is going to be from Aries to Pisces. Okay, so I'm going to go straight order. Let me move these cards out the way so I have enough room. But feel free to let me know in the comments like what you've been feeling as far as this energy, and if you relate with this energy. Because I'm telling you, I started feeling the new cycle in the full moon in Capricorn, like a few days prior to full moon in Capricorn. And I just been noticing just stuff picking up quickly, like the energy picking up quickly. Time is like going. It's like as soon as you lay your head down, it's the next day. So it's really going really, really fast. And this energy has been really hot too than normal. Usually like in the morning, if you're like up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, it's like you still have a little coolness, not too cold, but like now it's like you're literally sweating. Well, at least I am. You're sweating like as soon as you get up like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning when you're outside. It's crazy. And it's just one card, okay? Okay. So Aries. This is a Cancer card typically. This is the Chariot. So this is a major transformation for you. You will go ahead and act on your endeavors. You won't second guess yourself. You'll be in the position of like, I'm taking the leadership role in my life, and you're receiving a lot of green lights for the next activities that you will be participating in. Okay, whether that's career, whether that's self-growth or development, whatever you've been receiving as far as where you need to work on, I'm seeing that you're acting on it and not asking for permission. You're just going through with it because you have the confidence. You already vocalized everything you need to. You have the confidence in the solar plexus energy to go ahead and push forward, and you have the green light, and it's going to be very positive for you. And this is Cancer season. Again, new moon in Cancer, so it's going to be some form of activation. You're going to be very intuitive during this time. Okay, you're going to actually have a visual where everyone else doesn't have access to actually see individuals' intentions, perceptions, or what have you. And I'm hearing the occult, so you're going to really be tapped in spiritually. Okay, you're going to have some new shades on. I heard visors. So you're going to have a different lens. You see things differently now. Okay, Taurus. Okay, so this is Aries energy. This is the Emperor. Okay, so a lot of you are going to be in your authority. A lot of us are positioning ourselves to be in authority. The true North Node in Aries will definitely impact you, Taurus. Where you're going to be a little bit more headstrong. Temper it down a little bit because you don't want, I heard blow a gasket. Interesting. So you don't want to get so fired up over situations that don't need that type of energy. And it will put a bad taste in individual mouths. Not that you should care all the time, but in this particular instance you should be mindful of your connections, so that it won't be a thing where you're just blowing steam and just like verbally, I'm hearing verbally abusive. So just scale it back just a little bit. But you will be really authoritative. You really have an assertive energy to get things done. Gemini, Ten of Swords. Okay, so I just heard out with the old, in with the new. A lot of you are starting over. You're getting rid of things that may have been connected with in the past. So it may be articles of clothing, possessions. You want to carry a lighter load. And I'm hearing Bag Lady by Erykah Badu. In addition to, I'm also hearing shedding like the old skin. For some reason, this looks like skin in the background, you know, like snake skin, like when they shed. So a lot of you may show up differently physically, like appearance wise, and just energetically, that you're shedding some things that you see that have been hindering you from being truly who you're supposed to be in this world. Okay, Cancer. Okay, so Cancer, you're in that full energy. Now some people say this is Aries energy. From what I researched, this is like Uranus and like Aquarian type energy. But from what I gather from this, it's like taking a leap of faith. Some of you are actually removing some of the items, like just like the Gemini energy. You're carrying a lighter load. Some of you, I'm hearing you want to be like on a minimalist lifestyle. You having those type of practices where the less the best. Okay, less is best from that energy. And this reminds me of, even though that may be like a sun energy, but this reminds me of the new moon intuitively. Some of you are actually have new business ventures, new connections. You're celebrating during this time because this is your season. So some of you have been adorning yourself, with jewelry, with beautiful clothing. You really have been beautiful. I'm getting a lot of beautiful energy, like on the physical. Like you're adorning yourself with jewelry, beautiful clothing, hair, just really beautiful. That's good. I'm also hearing a lot more honest to Cancer with that shell that you have, as the crab. You don't allow people to really see how soft you are inside. And a lot of you are going to start tapping into your sacral, your heart chakra, and your solar plexus to show that softer side, to trust more and be okay with exposing just a little bit of your soft side, showing empathy or compassion, and if there's a love connection, showing that you love the individual and not be so hard. Okay, Leo. Okay, so Leo, this is the Knight of Wands energy. And I just heard imagination. So you're going to want to quickly take action. I'm even getting new hairstyle. You may even want to go into like that ginger color or honey blonde, even, where you're going to change up your appearance. You even may wear yellow. But this energy is like very fiery, very determined. All right. You're very passionate for whatever you're tapping into. You're going to just take action. Very ambitious type energy, but I do encourage you not to act too fast when it comes to like love connections and business prospects. Like if someone wants to like connect with you on a new business venture, to actually do your research, to review the contracts thoroughly. Even if you feel good with this individual, still business is business, okay? So make sure you know what you're getting into. Make sure that it's not this all that glitters ain't gold type energy. Some individual that may come into your life, they may come in with flattery and compliments and like laying it on thick, and I'm getting that for business or for your intimate setting, like your relationships. So be mindful of this new individual. If they're moving too fast, you like them, slow them down. Like it's okay. You're not messing up the energy of the connection if you're telling them to slow down if they're doing too much. Okay. Virgo. So Virgo, get some rest, Virgo. If you look like they look burdened down, you're persevering. This is like the Nine of Wands. This is the Nine of Wands energy. Yes, hard work pays off, but you don't want it to be a thing where you won't be able to enjoy the harvest or the benefits of it because you're so overly worked and exhausted. Take some time for yourself. Self-care is really important during this time. Some of you may actually need to stay home for the next few days, like not always go kick it, try to go kick it and work. And immediately I thought of Beyonce, how everybody's been making memes or like jokes about like how she has a full-fledged concert going on, but yet she's been making appearances at fashion shows, parties, engagements, celebrations. I think recently there was some honor for Jay-Z at some kind of public event. He received some form of accolades. But get some rest. Get some rest. You don't have to be everywhere. Okay? And everything will come together. You don't have to be touching every single project that you want to accomplish all in one instance. You will have enough time to actually bring all of them into fruition. Okay, there's no competition. Libra, the 3 of Wands. So you're going to be coming up to a decision. A decision may come up to head this week on what you're going to do as far as your plans. You may be traveling during this time. And you're reviewing also what you can actually tap into next. So it's like, okay, what I'm doing now is cool. But in the meantime, what else am I going to be doing? Like, I can actually pick up another job or another task. I can plan some other stuff. Some of you, I'm hearing boredom. Okay. So this energy will actually help you as far as that Aries energy, to really tap into what you want and not necessarily what the collective or what other people want. You're going to look inside yourself and see, I just heard depleted. So some of you actually may feel depleted as far as that energy exchange, especially when it comes to your intimate connections, like those that are close with you. You're going to really evaluate like how much you've been taking in and how much you've been doing to please others, and really authenticity is going to come up to the surface for you. Like, who am I really? Like, am I really quiet, or is it just a thing I'm just quiet around these individuals because I don't feel like hearing their mouth if they got to criticize me? Or is it that I'm not educated enough to even speak on certain things? It's just going to be a lot of thoughts that come up to the surface for Libra, that you may have to actually qualify yourself. And even if you may not have all the tools per se, or at least think you may not have all the tools to make certain decisions, you're going to really like look inwardly. You're going to really evaluate. It's a lot of different things that you're evaluating, because I'm hearing all these different thoughts, and some of it is scattered. So I recommend that you ground yourself, make sure that you're not getting overwhelmed, evaluating your circumstances and looking and thinking like, oh, I didn't know I was so behind, or I didn't know I was showing up like this. Oh, I'm hard on myself. I can't believe I talk like this, or, I look a certain way. You may be like feeling some kind of way about even your appearance. Like, just chill out a little bit. Take a deep breather, woosah. Ground your energy. Like, don't get so caught up with all the details of everything, even though I know you're really good with details. In this instance, Spirit is asking you not to be. And that makes sense with this North Node energy in Aries, because Aries don't look at all the fine details. They get bored with that real quick. And I just heard like ADD or ADHD. So Scorpio. Also back to Libra, I got a little dizzy with Libra energy. Like, I feel like imbalanced, like a bobblehead in a sense. Please ground your energy. You have certain desires that you want to accomplish, and you don't want to leave this earth until they're accomplished. That's the perspective that you have. Where you're getting so overwhelmed with all the different things that you want to do, but it just seems like it's just not coming together for you. That's what you feel, but that's not accurate. Okay, take a step back and revisit it a little bit later. You'll actually see that you've done a lot of work. Okay, you've been in the trenches, like you've been doing a lot. So give yourself more credit. Scorpio, 6 of Swords. Scorpio, you're considering traveling to a new location, relocating. But you need to get your plans together as far as that. You're going to have to really look at how you're going to accomplish that so that you're not in a repeated cycle. Because I'm seeing that you're thinking that you moving changes circumstances, and that's not always the case, especially if you're not changing yourself with the journey. You're going to have to do a lot of introspection and evaluate how you've been moving, okay? Picking up and go, just grabbing things, not thinking about the consequences of some of your actions, not actually planning it all the way through, can bite you in the butt in the end, okay? So think about that. Just don't get in your feels and just start doing stuff without actually planning it out. Let's see, is there another storyline in that? Because that was a strong message. You're going to have some changes coming up real soon. And I'm hearing self-discovery. Some of you are really going to see what exactly you love and you are passionate about. What actually makes you tick, but in a good way. Because, gosh, I'm hearing a song, got a lot of cars, got a lot of clothes, got a lot of something. So basically you feel like you have, and I'm hearing pinnacle like PINNACLE, I believe. So some of you have seen all the good stuff. You've had all these different type of experiences. You've traveled. You had the Lux life. You lived in your in your backpack. You've had all types of experiences. It almost reminds me of Sagittarius energy, and it's a thing now where you're gonna evaluate, like, what's next? What really makes me feel good? What do I really love? Like, I've done a lot of stuff, but that was cool, but what else? So you may be evaluating family, possibly wanting to have a family. If you actually want to have a commitment or some form of connection, where it may be marriage, or do you even want marriage? You're gonna really start evaluating that. Okay, Sagittarius, Ace of Wands. So with this energy, I'm getting a real ballsy energy, just being honest. It's a thing where it's like you're gonna let your nuts hang, basically. That's the energy that I'm getting from this. So if it was a thing where you've been playing small, now you're gonna I'm hearing like a go big or go home. So it's a thing where you've set in motion certain intentions as far as your life, whether it's traveling, with a business venture, even where you see yourself living for the next few months to a year. You're actually like saying, you know what, the stars are aligning and I think I'm gonna go. And this reminds me of this energy that I discussed earlier. Alignment. Okay, there's been some alignment in your life that you're acting on, and you're just creation is real heavy in this energy. Willpower is in this energy. Manifestation and inspiration, desire, and fertility. So if you are not in the business of wanting to bring a baby in the world, you know what to do. But it's a very fertile energy. Some of you may be very attractive during this time, and you may have more escapades, if that makes sense, without getting too detailed. All right, some really passionate affairs. Capricorn, okay? Capricorn, this is your energy, Six of Wands. So some of you really feel accomplished. You feel like you're on your high horse. You feel successful at this moment. You have probably recently received some form of public reward or recognition for what you've put out there so far. You really, I'm hearing that song, Sitting on Top of the World. Sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top. Yeah, that song. Is that Brandy? Because I keep hearing the remix of it. Yeah, okay, so the original Sitting on Top of the World is Brandy, but then it's someone else that remixed it. I can't think of his name, but I'm hearing both versions, so you may want to listen to that song. This is the energy that you may feel. Some of you, I just heard jewelry, and how I'm seeing this like a necklace or a bracelet. Some of you may actually go into that or feel inspired to create a new piece. That's interesting. I'm hearing like a new accessory line that you've been inspired to create. Because I'm even looking at I think that's called the bridle for the horse right there. So I'm seeing new accessories inspo, okay? And I just heard Pinterest as well. Okay, Aquarius. This actually came in the reverse. So the Hierophant came in the reverse. Some of you are getting out of a commitment. Some of you are like, you know what, relationships are not for me. For at least for right now. Some of you are getting out of a contract. I heard a lease is over. So some of you are actually like saying, you know what, I'm cool on being signed to any kind of contractual agreements right now. I'm getting this energy. Remember, I was saying a lot of time from what I researched, this energy is connected to air sign energy. So I saw this, and it was just your affirmation is I know. So I'm getting, or we know. So the energy that I'm getting from this though is like, you knew all along that it was coming to an end, and you knew that this was short-lived, whatever it may be. And I'm getting deep commitment. So it may be a romantic situation, a friendship, or even a business partnership or employment where you knew it wasn't sustainable, but it was just something that I heard intermission. So something that was just like an in-between short commitment, whether it was a short contract, especially if you're a contractor and you had a short-term agreement or lease, you knew there wasn't any longevity to it. So it's like you're okay with walking away from that particular connection, okay? All right, so Pisces. You're in your energy. The High Priestess. The High Priestess, the energy, and then lo and behold, there's a moon there. That energy is very powerful. And you have tapped into like this sacred knowledge that is very beneficial to you as well as the collective. The pomegranates are standing out to me within the card. In the background, those are pomegranates. You're very fertile. Even if you're not physically fertile, which I do believe you are, you're fertile with ideas. You're fertile with this sacred knowledge. Again, it's like these mysteries that you have within yourself that you're unlocking and trusting spirit to allow others to visit that sacredness, if that makes sense. So with this energy, it's like you know a lot, and it's like a time for you to actually reveal, like peel out like these different seeds of, it's just yumminess. And the yumminess is not just necessarily physical, it's like a spiritual, like an energetic yumminess that people, when you do reveal whatever piece of knowledge that you choose at that given time, it's delicious. Okay. Very fertile energy, and it's and you have so much, you feel limited in a sense, even though you're not, you feel limited in a sense where you don't know if you want to give it away, but believe it or not, you got a lot. So if you ever feel like, oh, I don't know if I feel like I'm giving too much, you're not giving too much. You have a lot. I'm seeing a lot of abundance, and it's not saying, so if you have a business, and say for instance you are, because this is even like tapping in with me, I try not to, like, I try to focus on the messages for the collective, but this actually sounds like some of the things that I may be experiencing, where you have a lot, but it's like you don't want to always be giving, as far as the exchange. Like, okay, like, I gave you some gems, take that, let's see what you do with that. And, kind of not necessarily ration it out, but you feel like you have to kind of preserve your energy in a sense. I don't know what has happened recently why you have so much in store. Maybe it's always been there, but you really have a lot. You really have a lot to share with the collective. You won't run out. You won't get burnt out. You know how to pace yourself. You know your energy. You know when you need to rest. You know when you need to be active. You know. So just trust that you'll be okay. I mean, look how resourceful. Like, look at all these resources. We talk about the Empress and the abundance. In the abundance. So I know it's definitely a download. But look how abundant the High Priestess is. Back in the day, the High Priestess was well respected. Okay, and in some instances higher than the Queen. There's a lot of power within you, Pisces. Don't sleep. Okay, so that's all I have. This is the new moon in Cancer energy, as well as other energies that I discussed, which was the True North Node, Cancer season. I touched base on a couple of planets, but again, at the end of the day, if you hear a message, even if it's a different sign, this is generally like your sun, moon, rising, and even Venus energy. But if you hear a message within another zodiac sign, like, listen to it. It very well may be your message, especially if you feel like it resonates, okay? So don't be so particular or stickler on, oh, let me go to Taurus because that's my sun sign. No, like, listen to the messages. You'll be happily surprised, okay? So again, this is Amethyst Goddess from InAlignment Ministries again, checking in with y'all. I appreciate and I love y'all. I appreciate the support. Thank you for listening in. Be well. Take care.